and gentlemen, welcome on in to an absolutely fantastic episode of Bar Talk. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, happy Thursday, happy Friday, happy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it is that you are listening to this. I hope you're having the most extraordinary day ever. And guys, remember, if you're not having a good day, you're the one who gets to choose to make it a good one. Turn it around, make it extraordinary. Okay, guys, episode 6D. Oh my God, I just looked. 65. Guys, episode 65. I know I've said it and I'll keep saying it. I have so much gratitude for every single one of you incredible human beings who chooses to tune in and listen in and share and enjoy anything and following along. I can just sit here and talk to a microphone and like no one would care, but like you guys are listening, so believe me, it means the world to me. So thank you very much. Okay, I want to dive right on in to who our guest is this week, guys. So, I a while back kind of hinted at my love of Uncle Nearest a few episodes back, and I wanted to get the the people from Uncle Nearest on. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what is happening. So I am having, or we are having, excuse me, this evening, Miss Victoria Edie Butler. Victoria Butler is the master blender of Uncle Nearest. She has been named master blender 2 years in a row. I am obsessed with this company. I'm obsessed with this whiskey, and I am obsessed with this story for so many reasons. So let me go ahead and kind of tell you guys how I found them and how I found this. So my liquor lady, Miss Nancy, out at Main Street Wines and Spirits and Countryside, knows my love of good whiskey and good bourbon. And a while back, she said to me, she's like, "Oh my God, Jen, I have to tell you about this story. 5 generations um, founded by a slave." And I just remember being like, what? Like, how? Again, I'm like, I was emotionally tied to this because I am the fourth generation of my family's pub, Shinnick's Pub. And I understand that, like a family business and that family pride that you have and the legacy that is left behind from the people before you and what you're trying to leave for the next generation. And I just could not believe this story. And I then bought the bottle because I was like, well, one, I need to get it. And guys, it is the best whiskey like I've ever had. And that goes to show based off of their awards. They have, and this was as of the last time I checked, who knows what other awards they've won. But as of now, they have over 75 awards that they have earned. They are the fastest growing liquor ever. Yes, ever. This company was founded in 2017. And guys, it's just an absolutely incredible story. And Victoria Butler, who we will be hearing from in a little bit, is the great great granddaughter of Uncle Nearest. And what I should also add about Mr. Nathan Uncle Nearest Green is this is the man who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. Um, it I love what I call it falling down the rabbit hole. When I am doing research on a subject matter or if I am slightly intrigued by something, I fall down Alice's rabbit hole and I don't come out until I know, what I guess want to know or need to know or whatever. And I fell down the rabbit hole pretty hard on this one. And the way that this story, guys, came about is like, I mean, truth be told, this bottle that is right behind me right now, if you are watching this, you can see it. There were many obstacles put in this bottle's place for it to not be sitting here right now. Um, and I think it's just incredible to me that it is sitting exactly where it is, that the stars have aligned exactly the way that the stars were supposed to align for Uncle Nearest to be flourishing the way that is flourishing. And Victoria, guys, is I've never fangirled over meeting anyone like in my life, and I'm so serious. I fangirled over meeting Victoria, and I look forward to going down to Shelbyville, Tennessee, one day very soon. And I think what's truly unique about Miss Victoria is like she's on her second act right now, guys. Like Victoria is going to be 60. She had a 31-year career in the Department of Justice. She liked drinking whiskey. And then, she started off in this company not as a, you know, blender. And that's what she's doing. Like, it's absolutely incredible. Um, and it is probably one of the most heartfelt conversations I think that I've ever got to share with anyone on this show. And I'm just so excited to have you guys hear it because what Victoria is doing, what Fawn Weaver is doing, Fawn is the CEO of Uncle Nearest. And what everyone is doing, guys, is like they are making sure that like everyone around the world knows the story of Nathan Nearest Green because it is a story that deserves to be told. It is a story that wasn't necessarily lost in history, but we'll say it was overlooked. It was overlooked a lot. Um, and now people are going to know. And every time you take a sip of this whiskey, you're going to be talking about that story and the incredible story. And I think, stories are one thing and we go to stories, but guys, the product speaks for itself. Um, it is outstanding. You got to go get it. It's so damn good. It's so damn good. But before we go ahead and dive on into that, I want to share with you two of my favorite things. As you guys know, I love a good purse, and Margot Page is the purse that I am trusting to wear this summer to all of my sporting events and all of the music festivals. Um, Chicago's starting to lift and everything's starting to look a little bit better. And that means you kind of need to have a purse that stays up to code for everything. And Margot Page is the handbag for all year wear made with durable and recycled materials. And guys, the one that I am rocking currently, well, I'm not wearing it right now, but like when I go out, I love the crossbody fringe bag. So cute. It has a nice little like slide in there for you to put all of your like debit cards, your ID, just have everything that you need. And guys, it's good material. I'm also really looking forward to the fanny pack because like your girl loves a fanny pack and the fanny pack is making a comeback. So like don't diss on a fanny pack until you have a fanny pack. Okay. So guys, Margot Page is kind enough to give you 10% off your next order using promo code BARTALK10. Head on over to their Instagram page, which is Margot_page, or you can go to their website, which is margotpage.com and get 10% off your next order using promo code BARTALK10. Okay, guys, LYW candles, my favorite candles ever. It is the only candle I trust to have lit in my home. And guys, they are the Celine scent and the Slancha scent will be leaving the website very soon, like this week. Okay, so if you guys are interested in getting that, it is what I have burning behind me. I absolutely adore it. I love the Celine. The other one I really love too, guys, as summer is coming, is the Marg scent for margarita. It's fresh lime, sea salt, and agave. It smells glorious. I absolutely adore it. But guys, head on over to their Instagram account, which is LYW Candles, or their website, which is lywcandles.com, and you're going to get 20% off your next order using promo code BARTALK20. Okay, so head on over there. Don't forget to use the code. The Slancha and the Celine scents that were in honor of my family's pub will be leaving this week, guys. So you got to go over and get it before they're gone. They're not coming back. You hear me? They're not coming back. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and dive right into this. I'm super excited. I know you guys are going to enjoy this. So, ladies and gentlemen, without absolute further ado, the reason you are all here today, my conversation with Uncle Nearest's very own Miss Victoria E. Butler. This is seriously the coolest moment that I'm holding the bottle and the woman I'm talking to is the one who has created what is inside of it, which is just like, again, like I said, I'm fangirling, and it's so good that I hide it from my roommate. So it's in my dresser drawer under my clothes so he won't drink it.
Your clothes are going to be smelling really good, right, Jenna?
They do. They do.
Uh-huh.
Victoria, cheers. Thank you so much for coming on in and just, chatting up with me. I'm seriously like so honored.
Thank
Um
you.
okay, so is Nearest a nickname or is it a middle name?
Uh, Uncle Nearest is his nickname.
Okay.
His name is Nathan Nearest Green.
How do you know how we got the nickname?
We do not. We just know based on the research that our CEO and founder Fawn Weaver did
Mhm.
that all of his family and those closest to him called him uncle as a term of endearment.
Mhm. I love that. Okay, so being a kid, what were the stories that you heard about your great great grandpa Nearest?
Well, it all came from my grandmother, who is nearest his granddaughter.
Mhm.
Her name is Annie Bell Green Edie. She's been gone some time now, but she lived just to be just shy of her 100th birthday. So she
Wow.
was around for a long time, right?
Mhm.
And what she always shared with the family and anyone who visited was near screen. She would always say, "My granddaddy taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey." And
Oh
so
my god.
there weren't a lot of stories other than the acknowledgement that
Mhm.
he was the man responsible for teaching Jack all he knew about distilling.
That's incredible. So, when you were growing up, I'm going to believe, or maybe I'm wrong, that you thought your family's history was normal because it's all you knew.
Exactly.
When did you realize that, like, this isn't normal?
Really not until about um, almost 5 years ago when Fawn Weaver showed up in Lynchburg.
Wow.
Everyone in Lynchburg knew the story. Where Lynchburg is a very small town, and everybody knows everybody. There's not a lot of secrets, so to speak, there.
Mhm.
So it's always been known in the city limits of Lynchburg, but not much beyond that. And so it's what I grew up knowing, and it was just a normal thing. So when Fawn showed up and started piecing the story together, I then understood more of what Nearest's contributions were. Not that he only he taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey, that he was his mentor and friend, but the Lincoln County process, the process of distilling, of filtering whiskey through sugar maple charcoal, that is what Nearest Green is mostly known for outside of what he did with Jack. But him helping to perfect that process is really one of the major things in regards to the spirits industry. In 2013, the governor of Tennessee signed into law that any whiskey designed to be Tennessee whiskey, that it must adhere to the Lincoln County process. So what Nears contributed to the spirits industry, it lives on today, making Tennessee whiskey a category of its own. So I didn't realize that until Fawn Weaver came along and unearthed all this research and information that she shared with the family.
So when she finally did, show up in Lynchburg, and obviously it's a small town, so people found out very fast that a New York Times bestselling author was in town with her Sony producer husband. I can only imagine the like, what's going on?
Right?
What are they doing here? But and obviously in the like unfolding of the history, which you knew, was there like a spark inside of you that was just like, oh, maybe this is like really unique.
Yes, absolutely. And that spark continues. Now I knew that my grandfather, that my great grandfather was special.
Mhm.
I knew that based on what my grandmother shared, because you have to keep in mind during the 1800s, early 1850s, even up until the 1900s,
Yeah.
1960, a black and white man didn't have that type of relationship.
Mhm.
And Nearest and Jack were especially unique because Nearest is about 28 years older than Jack Daniel. And so he kind of fathered him, so to speak, teaching him about life, about the spirits industry, and then just overall in the spirits industry, what Nearest gave. Again, the Lincoln County process. And so that when Fawn started sharing all of that with me, with the whole family, I became even more curious and in awe of what Nearest Green had done. And so that's still that same energy and that same excitement, even after being on the team this long, it's still there. And so that's what drives me and our whole team to ensure that Nearest Green's legacy is never forgotten, that is cemented in history. The reason why his
Yeah.
name is on the bottle, the reason why we are building out a $50 million distillery in Shelbyville, Tennessee, to honor him and his contributions and those of his descendants. So yeah, that's what keeps me motivated and going and excited.
Yeah.
That spark is long gone.
I love it. What I think is, I mean, there's so many incredible things about Uncle Nearest in this story and you in this company. But to me, what I think is truly incredible is you're on your second act right now. 31 years with the Department of Justice. And then it's like, kind of like we said, like God's plan is always the right plan. And since you've started on this journey of being a master distiller and winning awards for it, what has surprised you along this journey?
Well, it's master blender, not
Master
distiller.
Blender, sorry,
Yeah.
Master Blender, yes.
I think what surprised me right away is my abilities. I've always had an interest in drinking whiskey. That has been my choice, my go-to. But I did not know that I would have this type of passion for blending and for the spirits industry as a whole.
Mhm.
Um, and so, what Fawn Weaver did, not only for Nearest's legacy, but for me personally, is unleash this passion in regards to whiskey, and now knowing that I have the skill set, the confidence, the drive to put good whiskey in a bottle for consumers across the globe
Yeah.
to consume. So it's really, really exciting. It really is.
What would you say to people who are maybe getting ready to start their second act?
The one thing I would say is um, trust your instincts. If you have a desire to write a book, you got to set aside your fears and go for it,
Mhm.
because you'll never know. You'll never know until you do it. And failure is not a bad thing either. That just teaches us what not to do. The next time we take lessons from everything that we do, then we're all the better for it. So the first thing I think is to set aside your fears and embrace the confidence that you have to do it.
Yeah. So, one of the belief of bar talk is that we have more in common with each other than we have different.
Absolutely.
And in my obviously research, and once you do your homework on your company, you learn the story of Jack Daniels and Nathan Nearest Green. And like you had said, a very unlikely friendship, not only in terms of race, but in terms of age, the time. And I think that Jack and Nearest realized that we have more in common with each other than we have different too back then. Um, as an insider, as a family member, what has their unlikely friendship opened your eyes to?
Well, again, that's all I've ever known. I grew up in a town where, um, people weren't associated just because due to the color of their skin.
Mhm.
I grew up in Lynchburg. I had black and white friends. Only thing that was different was my family was black and theirs were white.
Mhm.
But I just I am so grateful for growing up in a small town like I did. When I met people when I first started college, I would say Lynchburg, and they would frown, given it's a small, rural, southern town. They immediately thought racism and lynchings, and it could not be further from the truth. We all got along. I can't remember ever, literally ever, there being a situation that caused an uproar or a town disagreement regarding race. We just didn't do it. And I think Nearest and Jack, their relationship, I think it set the tone for the whole town. And we just didn't grow up like that. And agreed, we have more in common than we don't. And so I've always, that was my upbringing. That is how I conduct my life now. And it is certainly the foundation for our team at Uncle Near's Whiskey. We are a reflection of America.
Yeah.
We have a very diverse team. Yes, we honor a once enslaved Black man. We are owned and led by a brilliant African American woman. Our whole sales team is female, but our team looks like America. We're Black, we're white, we're Latino, we're Hispanic, we're gay, we're straight, we're lesbian. We've got the whole gamut on our team. And that was done purposely.
Hmm.
Fawn Weaver built a team that reflects America because Nearest Green, the relationship that he had with Jack, our story is built on love, honor, and respect. And so our team is that way as well.
And it's not ironic that it reflects what our country is, and the success and the notoriety that is coming with it. Like, it's one of those things that it's like, I don't want to say it's common sense, but it's like, look what would happen if we just followed what our country looked like in our everyday life.
Absolutely, absolutely. So having a certain demographic that we cater to, we do not.
Hmm.
Everyone is welcome at a seat at our table. We welcome everyone, and just like at our distillery, which will open on June 19th. Or rather reopen. We closed during the pandemic, and we have continued the construction there. So we're planning this fabulous reopening on June 19th, Juneteenth.
Juneteenth,
And
yeah.
that too is purposeful.
Yeah.
And so while we pay homage to unsung heroes, Black and white, um, we do unveil a lot of history there at Nearest Green Distillery, and a lot of it has to do with people of color and women. So everything we do is purposeful. Nothing is done just because it's going to look good or sound
Right.
good. There's always meaning and history attached to it.
I love that. I love it. I when it's there's such a legacy here, and when every time I was looking up stuff, I was getting emotional, and I was like, oh my god, like like I couldn't help it, like I was crying. And I just really think it is a testimony to your great great grandfather and the legacy that he's instilled in this new generation of people. And he's planted seeds in you, in Fawn, in the people who work for Uncle Nearest, and every person who drinks it. um and 160 years later, that seed is finally blooming. It's in
Yeah.
full bloom, and it's attracting more. And I'm curious, if like, why do you think his legacy has inspired so many people now?
Well, again, I think it's all about timing. With the state of things in our country, especially the last 3-4 years,
Hmm.
um, and the mindset of a younger generation, and then what we do at Uncle Nearest. I think we are leaders in regards to changing mindsets about race relations. At least I like to think we are.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think that the time was right to unveil what was lost for so many years. And so I can't say exactly why now, but I just feel in my soul that this story nears his legacy lay dormant for all those years, waiting for Fawn Weaver. I just can't imagine anyone else being able to do what Fawn and our team, what we have done. I just think it needed someone with the brilliance, the with the charismatic attitude, the drive, the determination, and certainly the passion and love to do what it takes to shine a light on this beautiful story.
Yeah.
And so I think most of it is timing. It was just waiting for such a time as this for Fawn Weaver.
I've been thinking about too, what will, I guess we'll call it the Uncle Nearest effect, because it's a story that has now been discovered
Mhm.
after a very long time of it not being discovered. And it got me wondering what else is what spark is going to be ignited in someone from hearing this story and saying, what other lost stories don't we know that we need to know?
Yes, I think it's already happening. I
Yeah.
do. Because I do so many interviews. We have so many of these conversations. That's what it takes, the conversation.
Hmm.
Um, and other people thinking, what about my family? What about his family? What about her family? I think people are looking more into their family histories and thinking, hey, especially in the food and beverage industry,
Yeah.
because of the black background of black people for all those years. My folks worked in the kitchen. They worked in the kitchen. They worked in the back of the bars.
Hmm.
And so I think people are paying more attention to that now, knowing what we know about Nearest Green.
Yeah. um so the one video, I want to play a really quick clip of it because this one I just thought was so beautiful. um and here. It was always gonna happen. It was just waiting on Fawn. Yeah. It was meant to be. I don't want to ruin your lashes.
No,
I
please,
promise.
please.
I
But
promise.
I do believe that with every ounce of my being.
Yeah.
I truly do. It's not just for talk or for dramatization. I
No.
believe that.
Hmm.
I believe that. I mean, think about it. For 160 years, this is not the only time that somebody's read about Near Screen.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of times, you know, in Jack Daniel's legacy book, written by a man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, named Ben Green. He's no relation to my family, but his name is Ben Green. He wrote that book years ago. That book has been read around the world. So, and Nearest Green is mentioned. Nearest and his sons and grandsons are mentioned in that book more than 50 times, right?
Wow.
So people know, but they didn't know.
No. Yeah.
So Jack's family never glossed over the fact of the relationship that Nearest and Jack had. They never glossed over or tried to hide what Nearest's contribution was to the Jack Daniel brand.
Hmm.
Um, but for whatever reason, the story did go missing. And so when Fawn Weaver picked up the New York Times and saw this story about this once enslaved man that taught Jack Daniel how to distill, it sparked something in her, right?
Yeah.
And so she was so intrigued by that she convinced her husband to take her more than 1,800 miles across country to Lynchburg. I do not believe by any stretch of the imagination that any of that just happened.
No.
I think it aligned just as it was supposed to, when it was supposed to, for Fawn and for the rest of us. um, again, delayed but not denied. Um, it we run at an accelerated pace at Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey. We have become, in these few short years, the most awarded whiskey or bourbon for 2019 and 2020. We're the fastest growing American spirit in history.
Yeah.
It takes a special team of people to make that happen. And so I'm very fortunate to be a part of a team that works really hard, to be led by a woman that works really hard. And all of us have come together for one goal, and that is to ensure that Nearest Green's legacy lives on. That all the awards and the accolades, they are wonderful, and we don't take any of them for granted. But the focus has always been and will continue to be Nearest Green's legacy.
And it 100% is. I had told you, my family owns a bar, and it was founded by my great grandparents. So never met them, and I never got to meet my grandparents. But I feel them every time I'm in there. And
Absolutely.
it's a weird thing to describe because we live in a world that always needs like proof sometimes, but
Uh-huh.
you can't deny what you feel.
Right.
Do you feel nearest with you?
Absolutely. 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 There is no way, there is no way I, I believe that I could have done what I've been able to do in such a short period of time without his presence. The the thought of anyone in the spirits business going from becoming a part of the team in March and being elevated to master blender in November, and then the following year being named the master blender of the year. Oh yeah, I feel him. I feel him every day. Every time I go into the lab to curate a batch of 1884. Every day now that we walk the grounds there at the distillery, I feel him. I cannot explain it. A man I never met. My grandmother didn't even meet her grandfather, just like you. But I feel his presence and I feel his guidance. Um, the shoes that he walked in all those years ago, I think they're definitely big shoes to fill. But I am striving every day to do it with excellence, to make him proud, and to make our family proud, and to honor what Fawn Weaver and this team has done. What we do every day is, we go about our business pounding the rock every day, pouring this beautiful whiskey, sharing this story with people like you around the world. And we want to ensure that when people are talking about those icons in the whiskey business, Jim Beam, Jack Daniel, those people that have been around, that their companies have been around for generations, we want people to know that, to include Nearest Green in those type of conversations. And so without Nearest's guidance, for me, it doesn't happen. I mean, who goes from being in law enforcement to making award-winning whiskey within a 2-year time? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
If you could say anything to him, what would you say to him?
Thank you. Thank you for, this beautiful legacy that you left behind. Thank you for putting the skill sets and the desire. Thank you for leaving those for me. And I hope and I pray that he is pleased every day with what we're doing at
Yeah,
Nearest Green.
it is. It's beautiful. I'm going to drink now so I don't cry.
Okay, well, I'm going to dab my eyes so I
Okay.
don't.
It's beautiful.
It's crazy. I do not intend to cry. I came from a world where you didn't cry a whole lot. You don't do that in the law enforcement realm.
Yeah.
Um, but since I joined the team, I'm a ball of emotions. But now I don't apologize for it either.
No.
This thing is so near and dear to me, um, that I can't suppress what I feel when I talk about him.
Yeah.
When I talk about him, and when I talk about Fawn, and when I talk about our team as a whole, I can't suppress those feelings. And I don't apologize for it because it's real. And I am grateful. And so when I cry, they are tears of joy and tears of gratitude.
So much gratitude. So much gratitude.
So much gratitude.
So much gratitude. All right, we're gonna cheers um to nearest, and now we're gonna play a fun game that I like to call ridiculous random rapid fire questions.
All right, I'm ready.
When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an attorney.
You did.
I did.
Were you like did you just like the courtroom drama, or did you like the arguments, or
I liked all of it. And
okay.
and to be vain, I like the attention.
I
Um,
love it.
I'm being honest. Now, this is when I was much, much younger, but
Mhm.
I knew in the seventh grade that I was going to work in law enforcement. I had made the shift and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I am very thankful that I had the opportunity to do so for almost 31 years.
I love that. I feel like your drink of choice is obvious, but I know you're a cocktail gal. So what is your cocktail of choice?
I have several favorites. One of my favorites is a sidecar. It's a very old cocktail, typically made with cognac,
Mm-hmm.
but naturally, when I order it, it's with Uncle Nearest.
It
And when I
has.
make it at home, of course, it's with Uncle Nearest.
I love that. I love that.
And I have to give a shout out to one of my team members. His name is Jay Madison. He's our state manager in Georgia, and he created a cocktail even before coming on to the team called the Nearest to Happiness. It
Ooh,
is a fantastic cocktail, and that recipe I think is on our website.
I
It
was.
is very good, very good.
I might have to try that out myself.
Yeah.
What is the kindest thing a stranger has done for you?
uh, just randomly, paid for my lunch or my dinner or through a drive-through. I just love that.
Love it. Pay it forward. What
Pay
was
it
the
forward.
first concert you ever went to?
First concert I went to was Confunction. You probably never heard of them.
Nope.
So let me tell you this, and I embrace this as well. In July, I'll be 60 years old.
God bless. I love
So
it.
So they are an old group. They're not even together, of course, anymore. But that was my first concert. I think it was my first. If not, it was Bootsy Collins.
Okay.
So
Okay.
first concert, yeah.
I love it. What is the best piece of advice that someone has given you?
Trust yourself.
Mm.
Trust yourself. Um, you. I'm very hard on myself, especially trying to be the best I can be. I think that's a good thing, but you have to trust yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Who should my next guest be?
Fawn Weaver.
I would adore that. Fill in the blank. Victoria Edie Butler is what?
Victoria Edie Butler is a mother and a grandmother, and she strives to be the best mother and grandmother she can be.
Beautiful. Um, what have you learned the most about yourself in this past year?
I have learned that I can pivot
Mm,
without a lot of notice. I have learned that I'm comfortable being by myself. During the pandemic, I was at home a lot,
mhm.
a whole lot more than I wanted to be. And
Yeah,
of course, I knew that already, but I'm very comfortable with my own company.
I like that. I like that a lot. I can what's it called? Echo that too. I think
Yes,
as long as if you can enjoy yourself, then you learn who you actually really want to be around are good people to be around.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, last question. What is your hope for the future?
In regards to the distillery or my team or period,
Period.
all of it. Of course, like most, I desire longevity in life, a long, healthy life. I would like to continue, doing what I'm doing for as long as God gives me the health and grace to do it. Um, and I love being at the distillery, meeting the people. I love being out in the community, traveling, meeting people. So I would like to continue doing what I'm doing for as long as the good Lord gives me the health and grace to do so.
Well, it seems like based off of the relatives in your family, the secret to longevity is whiskey. So maybe you just got to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
drinking whiskey.
And I'm with that every day, so I should be fine, right?
I think you got the secret.
Yes.
So Victoria, we always end on a toast. In growing up in a bar, everything was always a toast.
Okay, Janice. So you are drinking Uncle Nearest 1856.
Yes, I am.
That is the brand. I mean, that is the expression that we started our brand with in 2017. It's an 8 to 14-year-old whiskey, 100 proof, a bottle of awesomeness, right?
The bottle of heaven.
Yes.
The bottle of
And
heaven.
so this is Uncle Nearest 1884.
That I got to get my hands on.
That is our small batch. And on each bottle, my name is on it. That is what I blended.
I love it.
It is a 7-year-old whiskey.
Ooh.
And it's 93 proof. So 1856 is the year that Nearest Green helped perfect the Lincoln County process. 1884 is the last year that he put whiskey in a bottle.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is by Peter Stropes, and he says, "Legacy is not leaving something for people; it's leaving something in people."
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Alrighty then, guys. Thank you so much for listening on in. I hope you enjoyed that so much. Obviously, I got a little emotional in that interview. I couldn't help it. I was crying. It's not that I don't like to cry. I just try not. I don't really like to cry when I'm doing these, but sometimes it happens. And it just is. It's just incredible, guys. Like this story is incredible. So call to action: go buy this bottle like yesterday. Okay, you'll thank me when you're done. And guys, if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed listening to this, if you enjoyed watching to this, I would love it if you would subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube, on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. Leave us a review. Reviews help way more than you know. I would just really appreciate that. And then you can follow us along. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. It is all Bar Talk with Jenna. And just sharing is caring, guys. Share this with someone. I think it was I thought it was fun. But yeah, as we're growing this baby, we got to get the word out there. So if you can help me, that'd be great. I'd love everyone to come on, sit at the bar with all of us as we have some fun conversations. So guys, I will see you next time. But until then, take the time today to realize that we have way more in common with each other than we have different. I will see you next time. Take care.
Hey everybody, it's closing time. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.